We are now heading into round 4 of the NFL draft, and somehow, some way, Shedeur Sanders is undrafted. And the reasoning for it is pretty unclear, at least for me. Now, we can obviously pull through different things that have happened with Shedeur, things that he has presented, and things that analysts and so on have also presented. But the fact of the matter is, no one really knows for sure 100% why Shedeur hasn't been drafted yet. Look, before we get into everything, what's good, guys? It's Demi M7. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Please hit that like and subscribe button. It would mean everything to me. Now, when it comes to pure skill and talent and playmaking at the quarterback position, nobody can really deny Shedeur Sanders and how high of a level he has in those areas. During his time in Colorado with his father, of course, Deion Sanders being his head coach, and having Travis Hunter, Shedeur demonstrated a lot of great, strong abilities. The ability to be mobile, which is extremely important in today's NFL. His accuracy is there. His arm strength is there. His decision-making is also not too shabby either. And he performed so well that there were many analysts that, aside from Cam Ward, they really couldn't pick anyone else ahead of Shedeur. Mel Kiper, who is basically the NFL draft guru, in his final mock draft, he had Shedeur going in the first round at number 9 to the Saints. And for Shedeur to be dropped in the first, second, and third round, that is the largest gap that Mel Kiper has ever gotten a draft pick wrong ever in his 40 plus years of doing this. So the skill set and talent are clearly there for Shedeur. And as far as I'm concerned, there were plenty of analysts in the NFL and ESPN, so on and so forth, that had Shedeur at least going in the middle of the first round. But when it comes to NFL teams actually drafting a player, especially someone as big of a name as Shedeur Sanders, there's also the off the field stuff that you have to pay attention to. And that is the main kind of reason why so many people feel like Shedeur has not been drafted yet. It's how he has presented himself off the field. Like I mentioned earlier, he is the son of Deion Sanders, primetime himself, one of the biggest named athletes in history. Deion Sanders was an absolute problem in every sense of the word in the NFL. On both sides of the field, he was just phenomenal to watch. But with that being said, Deion also had a very, very big personality that didn't always sit well with other people. I mean, hell, even now as a head coach, that he's been a head coach for Colorado, he's done such a phenomenal job, but he's also been very outspoken, as most of us know. When it comes to Shedeur, in the interviews that he has had with, prospective teams that may be looking to draft him, reports have been saying that Shedeur hasn't been, or at least he hasn't given the best impression. We've seen people note things like a lot of confidence, some arrogance, and from what we can tell, it's that kind of attitude that has kind of put people away from drafting Shedeur in the first place. Now, I've seen quite a few people online bring up racism in this and how that is possibly playing a part in all this. I'm not so sure if I necessarily believe that. Basically, some have brought up the idea that, because of how Shedeur has acted, kind of brash, very confident, some bravado, people kind of think that he's not acting a certain way or a particular way to kind of appease to the guys that are interviewing him, these teams and whatnot. And look, at the end of the day, none of us are in these interview rooms with these teams and Shedeur. We don't really know what he's been saying, how he's been acting, nothing like that. But to bring this back to the original question, there must be something that Shedeur isn't doing right off the field that is turning off all of these teams. We know for a fact that there are plenty of teams in the NFL that could use a brand new young quarterback in their system. The Pittsburgh Steelers comes to mind, the New York Giants before they ended up drafting Dart, I think it was. Now, will Shedeur go completely undrafted in this NFL draft? I highly doubt it. Some team will pick him up. I think it would be ridiculous not to. When it comes to on the field play, the guy has so much upside. It's crazy. And the way that I kind of look at this, regardless of how Shedeur has kind of presented himself or acted off the field, his on-the-field play, I think, justifies that. I know this isn't a perfect example, so just kind of bear with me on this one, but Aaron Rodgers has had a career where, again, he's been phenomenal on the field, but has made some very questionable statements and decisions off the field. Aaron Rodgers is pretty much synonymous with drama, yet because his on-the-field play was so elite, so excellent, teams like Green Bay and New York were kind of willing to just ignore it. Now, again, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, one of the best quarterbacks we've ever seen, and Shedeur, he's not even in the NFL. He hasn't played a snap yet. So I understand that the comparison isn't apples to apples here, but I do think that at the end of the day, if Shedeur is a good football player, that most of us can agree that he is a very good football player, some team should give him a chance. At the end of the day, he's super young. He's a kid. Let him grow up. Let him mature a little bit through the NFL, and let's see what this guy can do. It's frankly ridiculous that the guy hasn't been drafted yet after 3 rounds. That's just absurd for someone who's clearly as talented and skilled as him. But I guess we're just gonna have to see where he ends up. Please let me know in the comments what you think about this entire Shedeur Sanders situation. And until next time, peace.